He was the wealthiest man of his time, upright, respected, faithful, but in a single week, he lost it all. His business crumbled, his family perished, his body broke, and the heavens went silent. If Job lived today, he'd be a man watching his retirement vanish in a market crash, a father laid off after 20 years, a mother staring at foreclosure papers, and the haunting question would echo again: where is God when you lose everything? Job was no myth. The text places him in Uz, near Edom. Scholars trace it to Arabia or southern Jordan. 4 rare words define him: blameless, upright, God-fearing, and turning from evil. He was wealthy, respected, and generous. In his day, prosperity was proof of divine blessing. So, imagine the shock when the man everyone envied became the man everyone pitied. He'd be today's admired CEO, family man, philanthropist. His fall, as shocking as Warren Buffett going bankrupt, or a megachurch pastor losing everything overnight. Behind the curtain of earth lies heaven's courtroom. The accuser, Satan, stands before God. Does Job fear God for nothing? Remove the blessings, and he will curse you to your face. Here's the ancient wager. Do we love God for who he is, or for what he gives? And God allows the test, not as punishment, but as proof. Job's faith becomes a battleground for the oldest question in existence. Would you still worship if everything was stripped away? The first messenger bursts through the door, his face pale, his voice trembling. Master, raiders came. They swept across the fields like a storm. The oxen were taken, the servants cut down. I alone escaped to tell you. Job barely has time to grasp the words when another man staggers in, blood on his tunic. Fire from heaven. It fell on the sheep, every last one consumed in an instant. The herdsmen are gone. I alone survived. As Job's heart begins to sink, a third messenger appears, gasping for breath. The Chaldeans raided in 3 bands. They took the camels, slaughtered the guards. I alone escaped to tell you. But before Job can even lift his hands to his head in despair, before he can even breathe, a final servant stumbles forward, voice breaking under the weight of words no father should ever hear. Your sons and daughters, they were feasting in the eldest brother's house. A mighty wind rose from the desert. It struck the 4 corners. They are gone, all of them. And then, silence. 4 blows, each one heavier than the last. Wealth, work, security, family, torn away in a single day. Loss upon loss, while the words were still being spoken. Job rises to his knees. He tears his robe, shaves his head, and falls face down. Not in rage, in worship. Naked came I out of my mother's womb, and naked shall I return thither. The Lord gave, and the Lord hath taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. In all this Job sinned not, nor charged God foolishly. Then the test deepened. From head to toe, Job was struck with painful sores. The man once clothed in honor now sat in ashes, broken and humiliated. He scraped his wounds with broken pottery, his body wasting, his dignity gone.
Do you still hold fast to your integrity? Curse God and die.
You speak as one of the foolish women speaks. Shall we indeed accept good from God, and shall we not accept adversity?
And in all this, Job did not sin with his lips. In our world today, it would be the phone call from the bank, the breaking news of a market crash, the layoff email that lands in your inbox, and then, before you can even breathe, the call from the hospital. We did all we could, but In a single day, Job's world collapsed into ashes. And in our world today, it looks like repossession trucks pulling up outside your home, stock tickers bleeding red across every screen, the late-night ring from the ICU, and the text you dread. We're sorry, but your position has been terminated. Loss after loss, blow after blow, one tragedy stacked on another, before the first wound has even healed. The Bible text emphasizes, while he was still speaking, one blow lands before the last wound heals. Trauma layered on trauma. Sound familiar? This is why Job is timeless, because we know what it feels like when life kicks you while you're already down. And Job's 3 friends, Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar, heard of his pain and suffering, and they came to comfort him. But when they saw him from afar, they barely recognized him. The man who once sat at the city gates in honor now sat in ashes, covered in sores. For 7 days and nights, they sat with him in silence, grieving without words. But when their voices finally rose, they did not bring comfort. They brought judgment. Eliphaz, the elder, spoke first, the man of visions and experience.
Job, the innocent do not perish. The guilty reap their own ruin. Remember what I've seen. Those who plow evil harvest disaster. Surely you have sinned, confess, and God may yet restore you.
Eliphaz cloaked his accusation in wisdom, but his words cut deep. Job's suffering must be his own fault. Bildad followed, appealing to tradition and the justice of God.
God does not twist judgment, Job. If your children died, it is because they brought it upon themselves. Seek God earnestly, and perhaps He will restore you. But you must admit your guilt.
Bildad's logic was ruthless. In his mind, suffering always proves sin. Then Zophar spoke, harsher than them all.
Know this, Job. You actually deserve worse than this. If God dealt with you as you truly merit, your punishment would be greater still. Repent, and perhaps He will spare you.
Zophar's words were blunt force, dogma without compassion, judgment without mercy. And Job, he rejected them all.
I am innocent. My suffering is not punishment. I long to speak to God Himself, to plead my case before His throne. Let Him weigh me, and He will see my integrity.
Then a new voice rose. Elihu, the youngest. He had kept silent out of respect, but now his anger burned.
You 3 have failed. You condemned Job without proving him guilty. And Job, you accuse God of injustice. Do you not see? God speaks through suffering. He corrects. He teaches. He shapes the heart through pain. Do not accuse Him. Listen to Him.
4 friends, 4 worldviews. Eliphaz, suffering is punishment for sin. Bildad, suffering is proof of tradition's justice. Zophar, suffering is mercy compared to what you deserve. Elihu, suffering is discipline, a tool of correction. But Job rejected them all. His cry rose above their accusations. If only God Himself would speak to me, I would demand answers. Today, people say, it's your karma. You just didn't manifest enough. It's your fault. You lacked faith. Job's friends were the first prosperity preachers, and Job, the first man to call them out. And then, out of the storm, God answered, "Where were you? I laid earth's foundations. Tell me, if you know so much, who measured its dimensions? Who stretched the survey line across it? When the morning stars sang together, and the sons of God shouted for joy. You study blueprints. I drafted gravity. Who shut the sea behind doors when it burst from the womb? When I clothed it with clouds and wrapped it in thick darkness and said, 'This far you may come, no farther'? Can you call the clouds and count the raindrops? Can you send the lightning on its way and have it report back to you? Here we are. You post the forecast. I authored the water cycle, who carves channels for torrents and paths for thunderstorms, to water a land where no one lives, to make deserts bloom. Do you know when the mountain goats give birth? Do you watch the deer in labor? Who let the wild donkey go free? You zoom in to study life. I sustain it where no eye sees. Can you bind the chains of the Pleiades or loosen Orion's belt? Can you set the laws of the heavens and rule the earth by them? You name constellations. I tuned the constants. Dark energy, quantum fields, the fine-tuning of physical laws. If they were off by a hair, no stars, no life, no us. Behold Behemoth. Bones like bronze, sinews like cables. He drinks a river and is not afraid. Can you pull in Leviathan with a hook? His snorting throws out flashes of light. His breath sets coals ablaze. He leaves a wake, shining like silver. You wrestle metaphors. I made the monsters. Whether you see ancient hippo, croc imagery, or poetic symbols of chaos, God's point stands. The powers that terrify you live on a leash in his hand. God doesn't answer Job's why. He answers with who. And Job falls silent. His words shift from protest to awe. I had heard of you, but now my eyes see you. The revelation is clear. Sometimes God doesn't give us reasons. He gives us himself. And presence is better than answers. In the end, Job's fortunes are restored. Double. His family is renewed. But here's the secret. The restoration isn't the point. The greater gift is wisdom. Job's faith matures from transactional to relational, from I trust you because you bless me to I trust you because you are God. This is the story's true viral punch. The richest man alive lost everything, but discovered the one thing no storm can take: God himself. So, what does this mean for us? When life collapses, you're not cursed, you're trusted. When friends blame, remember Job. Suffering is not always punishment. When heaven is silent, lament is still worship. When God speaks, it may not be answers, but his presence. This is hope in recession, faith in layoffs, strength in grief. So where is God when you lose everything? He is still here, still God. And that changes everything. If this story moved you, don't forget to like this video. Subscribe for more cinematic Bible storytelling and turn on the bell so you never miss the next video. Your share, your comment, your voice could be the encouragement someone desperately needs today.